They said Eli Carter was lucky to be alive. That's what people always say when someone survives. Something they were never meant to escape. But luck had nothing to do with it. In the town of Briar's Edge, survival wasn't a blessing, it was a liability. Because if you were still breathing, you could still talk. And talk was dangerous. Eli was a records clerk at the county courthouse, the kind of job no one noticed unless something went missing. He sat in a windowless room, digitizing old case files, drinking burnt coffee, and listening to the building hum like it was tired of holding secrets. People like Eli were invisible by design. They saw everything and mattered to no one, especially not to Grant Holloway. Grant Holloway was the county's crown jewel. Former prosecutor, current council chair, the man who cut checks, shook hands, and decided which cases lived and which ones quietly disappeared. When Holloway walked through the courthouse, people straightened their backs without realizing why. Power had a way of doing that. Eli learned this the hard way. One late evening, while scanning archive case folders, Eli opened a mislabeled box dated 12 years back. Inside were files marked closed, evidence insufficient. But the contents didn't match the label. There were witness statements that contradicted the verdicts, confessions that had been retracted under suspicious circumstances. And at the center of it all, again and again, was Grant Holloway's signature. Eli didn't go looking for corruption. It found him. He printed one document by mistake. Just one. A transportation invoice tied to a private detention facility that no longer existed. When Eli realized what he'd done, his stomach dropped. He shredded the copy immediately, but the printer log had already recorded it. The next morning, his supervisor called him in. No eye contact. No explanation. Just a suspension pending review. By that afternoon, Eli's apartment had been searched. The warrant cited misuse of government resources. His laptop was seized, his phone cloned, and by nightfall, Eli Carter, the quiet clerk no one noticed, was officially under investigation. Grant Holloway never appeared in the paperwork. He never needed to. The charge was data theft. The accusation was simple. Eli had been selling sealed records. There was no proof, just a convenient narrative, and nobody with access. A system eager for a scapegoat. Eli tried to explain. To anyone. To everyone. But explanations don't matter. Once the story is written for you. T his arraignment. Holloway sat in the front row, not as a defendant, as an observer. He nodded once, almost kindly, as if to say you should have known better. Eli's public defender urged him to take a plea. They're offering leniency, she said. Probation. No jail. Just admit it. But Eli couldn't admit to a lie, not when he knew what was buried. So he said no. That's when the pressure changed. Friends stopped calling. Neighbors avoided him. Anonymous warnings appeared under his door. Let it go. You can't win. One note was shorter than the rest. Some systems don't break. They bury. In holding, Eli met Rosa Delgado. Rosa had been a paralegal before her own fall from grace. She knew the language of the law, and more importantly, she knew how it lied. Eli didn't tell her everything at first. Just enough. Enough for her to listen differently. They don't care if you're guilty, Rosa said quietly. They care if you're useful. That night, Eli made a decision. He stopped defending himself and started documenting everything. From memory, he reconstructed file. Numbers, dates, patterns. He wrote them down in legal margins. On food wrappers, anywhere guards wouldn't look twice. Rosa helped him organize it, cross-reference it, turn fragments into something coherent. A map. The trial moved fast. Faster than it should have. The prosecution painted Eli as greedy, reckless, careless. A small man who reached too far. Holloway never testified. He didn't need to. His influence was already in the room. Then the defense called a surprise witness. Rosa Delgado. She didn't testify as an accomplice. She testified as a professional. She laid out the inconsistencies, the missing chains of custody, the repeated involvement of the same supervisory signature across unrelated cases. Grant Holloway shifted in his seat. The judge frowned. The jury leaned forward. Then came the data. Eli's notes, digitized, time-stamped, verified, matched internal audit flags that had been ignored for over a decade. Patterns no one wanted to see because seeing them would mean admitting the system wasn't broken by accident. The courtroom went silent. For the first time, Eli wasn't the one on trial. The judge dismissed the jury early, ordered a recess. Cameras swarmed the courthouse steps. Not for Eli, but for the question no one could unask now. How deep did it go? The verdict came the next day. Not guilty. Eli didn't smile. He didn't cry. He just breathed. Grant Holloway never faced handcuffs. Not then. Instead, an independent review was announced. Committees were formed. Statements were released. Words like oversight and process failure were used generously. But something had shifted. Cases were reopened. Names resurfaced. Old verdicts cracked under new light. People who had been told for years that justice had spoken were suddenly being heard. Eli walked out of the courthouse a free man, but not an untouched one. That night, he received a secure email from an unknown sender. Attached was a single file. Internal correspondence. Grant Holloway. The timestamp was recent. The message was short. You exposed the system. Now decide what to do with the rest. Eli stared at the screen, understanding the truth that no one had told him before. Justice isn't a moment. It's a process. And sometimes, it's just the beginning. The system had been exposed, but it wasn't finished fighting back. The email sat unopened for hours. Eli watched the cursor blink like it was daring him to make a mistake. He knew better now. Curiosity was expensive. Truth even more so. When he finally clicked the file, he didn't rush. He breathed. He read. And with every line, the system he had exposed revealed how far it was willing to go to protect itself. The correspondence wasn't just damaging. It was strategic. Messages between Grant Holloway and Senior. Administrators outlined case prioritization, evidence streamlining, and witness management. Words, polished enough to pass audits, sharp enough to cut lives in half. Eli recognized the rhythm immediately. This wasn't one man bending rules. It was a machine trained to do it quietly. At the bottom of the thread was a name Eli hadn't seen before. Deputy Attorney General Martin Kessler. The timestamp placed him in meetings. The same week's files had vanished from the archives. Eli's chest tightened. This wasn't county corruption. It was vertical. Eli forwarded nothing. He printed nothing. He walked. 2 days later, a black sedan followed him from the bus stop to his apartment. It didn't stop. It didn't need to. The message was enough. That night, someone tried his door. No knock. Just the handle, testing. Eli stood on the other side, silent, heart pounding, remembering Rose's voice. They don't care if you're guilty. They care if you're useful. He called Rosa first. She listened without interrupting, the way she always did. You're past the point of personal safety, she said when he finished. That means you're finally valuable. She connected him to an investigative journalist named Sam Irons. Sam didn't promise protection. He promised exposure, the kind that made it harder to erase people. They met in public places, libraries, food courts, church basements during weekday services. Eli never handed over the original file. Sam didn't ask. He verified independently, followed money, cross-checked travel records, subpoenaed public calendars. Each confirmation tightened the noose without anyone noticing it was there. Meanwhile, the Independent Review announced after Eli's acquittal released its findings. Administrative failures. No criminal intent. Recommendations for policy updates. Grant Holloway's name appeared exactly once. Misspelled. The town sighed and tried to move on. That's when Sam published. Not everything. Just enough. The article didn't accuse. It documented. It didn't shout. It showed patterns. 12 cases. Shared language. Shared supervisors. Shared outcomes. And a single through line. People who questioned decisions were removed. Quietly. Legally. Permanently. The response was immediate. Not outrage. Fear. Phones rang behind closed doors. Meetings were cancelled. Kessler released a statement denying involvement. Holloway called the piece reckless. But denials are loud when they're scared. Eli watched it unfold. From his apartment, blinds half closed. The black sedan gone now, replaced by something worse. Silence. 3 nights later, Rosa was arrested. Old charges resurfaced. Procedural violations. Enough to detain her without bail. Eli understood the message instantly. Pressure had found a new target. He didn't sleep. He didn't pace. He decided. Eli sent the original file. Not to Sam. To the Federal Inspector General's office. Secure channel. Verified receipt. No fanfare. No announcement. By morning, agents arrived at the courthouse with boxes and badges. Floors closed. Servers mirrored. Subpoenas served in person. The machine didn't stop. It ceased. Grant Holloway resigned before noon. Health reasons. Again. Martin Kessler cancelled all public appearances. Again. This time, no one accepted the excuses. Rosa was released pending review. Charges dropped in the interest of justice. Sam published the follow-up that afternoon. Names named. Dates dated. Language stripped of its polish. The system responded the only way it knew how. It sacrificed parts of itself. Middle managers. Retired officials. A former aide who took a plea. The narrative shifted from conspiracy to containment. Grant Holloway was indicted on obstruction charges. Not the cases. Not the lives. Just the cover-up. He walked into court older than Eli remembered, shoulders tight, smile gone. He didn't go to prison. He took a deal. House arrest. Fines. Loss of license. The headlines called it accountability. The comments called it mercy. Eli called it familiar. But something else happened. Cases reopened at scale. Not just the ones Eli found. Hundreds. A task force formed with teeth this time. Convictions vacated. Settlements paid. Apologies issued that sounded rehearsed but still mattered to someone. Eli testified once. Briefly. Calmly. He spoke about process, not pain. Systems, not villains. The room listened because they had to. Afterward, Sam asked him if it felt like justice. Eli thought about the files. The people. Rosa's hands shaking the first night they met. Justice isn't a verdict, he said. It's whether the next person gets buried. Months later, as the town relearned how to breathe, Eli received another message. No sender. No file. Just a sentence. They're rewriting the rules again. Eli closed his laptop and looked out the window at the courthouse steps. The same steps he'd walked past invisible for years. The same steps that taught him the truth too late and just in time. He knew what came next. Exposure had consequences. So did silence. And the system was already adapting.